Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Last week's monthly inflation read was celebrated by many for showing that inflation is finally returning to the target band. After more than 18 months and 12 interest rate rises, the worst of this crisis might finally be over. But it's only over in a political sense. For millions of families around the country, prices are significantly higher than they were 3 years ago, and they will stay at those higher levels. Returning inflation to a target doesn't fix that. And while the government likes to talk about wages growing faster than they have in a decade, the truth is that wages aren't growing as fast as inflation, and Australians are worse off in real terms. This is borne out by yesterday's national accounts, which shows an economy where costs continue to rise faster than wages, and it shows households have eaten through half the savings they held a year ago, which was already down on COVID levels. The pressure people are feeling is real, and lower inflation doesn't make it go away. Every day I hear stories from constituents who are struggling, whose lives have gotten harder because of this crisis, and who are desperately trying to make ends meet. For them, the sense of celebration about falling inflation is frustrating, because the hardships aren't yet over for them, because they feel that not enough has been done to support them, and because they worry that the political interest in this issue will fade. Some people are happy to dismiss the economic worries of Wentworth. They think of us as tech leaders and corporate executives and mansions, and they think our community can take care of itself. But Wentworth is not homogeneous. It is a rich and diverse community, with almost half of our residents as renters, where the majority are not in the top income quintiles, and where some people are doing it really tough, just as they are in every single other of our electorates. It's a community where housing is unbelievably expensive, and those with mortgages have to deal with the crushing hikes over the last 18 months. And we have enormous numbers of small businesses, including Brew Cafe, which is an absolute favourite for those of us who spend time in Bondi. I know the owner of Brew Cafe, Sondra, pretty well, and she is an absolutely outstanding businesswoman. She has won awards for sustainability and the work that she does. But she tells me about how hard it is to run a business right now. The challenges that she faces keeping things open and keeping her staff employed. Many of these businesses are like Brew. They're struggling, particularly as with residents with soaring mortgages and rents have to cut back on their spending at local businesses. And for anyone who hasn't been in this situation, it's difficult to explain how stressful it is to run a business in tough times. The weight of responsibility can be completely overwhelming. Of course, you want to keep the doors open, you want to keep your people employed, you want to keep serving your community. But for so many small businesses, it's also their only real financial asset. It's the way that they earn a living and pay the mortgage, and it's their retirement plan. But a small business is not just supporting the owners' families, but the families of so many others, every single employee, all of whom have put the faith in that small business person to keep their own families going. That's the burden of being a small business owner. There is no magic bullet to solve these problems. Nothing that I, as your local member, or this government can do that will make these challenges magically disappear or completely go away. But the work I'm doing on tax reform, housing, childcare, climate, mental health, and a host of other areas is aimed at finding ways to ease the pressure, and particularly making it easier to build and grow businesses and grow real wages, because that's what really counts. We can all work to ensure we don't prolong the pressure any more than is necessary or make it any worse than it needs to be. And we can all work together to lay foundations for a better, stronger, more resilient economy for the future. Thank you.